Hey guys, how are you? Hope everyone's doing good. I wanted to share a dream that I had. It was this past Tuesday, the Tuesday before everyone celebrated quote unquote Thanksgiving. And I want to keep this short because so I can be precise in what I saw. But what led up to it was I had a very bad migraine leading up to the dream. I mean, it was so bad I couldn't drive. I had to stop work and literally go and lay down. And I remember that when I fell asleep and I was praying to the Lord, please take this from me. Please, can I spend some time with you when I sleep? Can you heal this migraine? Praying to Him. And the first thing I saw in the dream it took me several days to piece it together because it came in sections. The first thing I saw was earth. It was either the Great Tribulation or it was the apocalypse, because things had gone really south. There was explosions everywhere. There were people running around, bleeding, cut, people shooting each other. There was these demonic-looking creatures running around, killing people, just out in broad daylight. But it was day. That was the other thing. It was daylight, but it was there was light, but I can't say it was daylight because of the way the atmosphere looked. It was very gray, very solemn. There were explosions going on. It looked like multiple things happening at once, literally. Again, I saw these Nephilim demonic creatures in the dream, just absolutely taking people out. I mean, shredding them. And there were groups of people that were protected, okay? And they were in different areas all over the world. I had kind of a bird's eye view. And I saw these groups of people in my dream, and then the scene changed. And I was immediately taken up in the spirit, and I was in the Lord's kingdom, it looked like. And there were different angels, different sizes, but it was a completely different world than earth. So whether it was heaven or not, I don't know. It could have been like a staging area, because I saw one being stick out that was like 15 feet tall. I don't know if that was the Lord Himself or one of His angels, but He was in command. He had the saints and the rest of the angels under His authority. And He was saying things to them. And here's the thing, they were getting ready to come to earth. Before they all left, He told everyone, He said, do not harm the little ones. The little ones. And in my dream, I was thinking, children, young-aged children on earth. But I was wrong. Do you understand that we are all children to the Most High God, to the Lord? I don't care if you're 70, you are still an embryo in the whole scheme of creation. We are so young in our journey. And when He was saying children, He meant like the people who were sealed with the name of God on their forehead, and it didn't matter what age they were, because He looks at all of us as children. And that was very prominent in the dream. So the scene switched again. I see them all coming to earth, and they are like these balls of light, just cooking, coming to earth with such a fury. And I saw one particular angel land on earth in front of a group of people. All right, and this stuck out. This is very important. There were a bunch of people, like a huge crowd, and He lands in front of them, and they are all terrified because they don't know what He's going to do. Well, He raises His hand towards the crowd, and by His power, He starts pulling people out and lining them up, like to the side, separating them. And there was like a group of probably 100 and 200 people, and He grabbed like 30 or 40 out, lined them up, and the people were terrified. They thought it was the end for them. Even the bigger group who didn't get separated thought it was the end. So this group that separated, He lifts His hand over them, and this light came out of His hand, and it showed their true form. They were not human. They were these Nephilim demons that were hiding among the other humans. And when people saw their real form, they were wicked looking. I'm telling you, they had fangs and like just deformed, different. They were all different variations, but they were evil. So he separated him, put his hand was still above him, and a brighter light came out of his hand, and it turned them all to ash, literally, like poof, gone. And the other humans that were there, the other people that were there, felt relieved. And he stayed, the angel stayed with that group. He didn't rapture them. He stayed on earth with them to protect them. Then I was caught up to another scene. All right, I'm trying to keep this short. I was caught up in the spirit, and I was looking down on earth, and I saw an angel, another angel, again, a towering angel. Could have been, I don't know how tall, but just powerful. And he's looking down on earth over all of these buildings. All right, and I want you to picture this. All of these buildings, there was hundreds and thousands of these buildings. And he is looking down, and on the side of these buildings was a little symbol, and it was a pill. It was like a, like a pharmaceutical, like a drug emblem. And it was red and yellow, and it was up on the top right of all, like corner of all these buildings. And it looked like they were spread out all over earth, because I had a bird's eye view. As he's looking at all these buildings, his face turns to pure just fury. And he raised his hand, this angel did. But again, these are pharmaceutical buildings, so that has a symbolism, that's symbolic in itself. The fact that they had the pill on all, that was like their company logo. Anyways, he raised his hand to heaven, and I'm trying to remember what he said. I've been trying for days to remember what he said. But it sounded like the angel said, Elo, Elah, Elim. And when he said that, light came out of his hand. I mean, a huge beam of light, and it just destroyed all of these pharmaceutical buildings, like manufacturing plants. He lit them all up across the earth, and they were destroyed. It did switch scenes for a brief moment, but after this happened, I remember seeing in the bird's eye view these little blue bubbles pop up all over Earth, like these little blue force fields. And I could tell that there were people in these force fields, souls, people that had the seal of God on their forehead, that they were still on Earth. Each one of these bubbles, they were huge, like huge cities, had angels inside that were assigned to these territories to protect the children of God. And it was amazing because they didn't get raptured, whoever was here on earth when this happened, but the Lord sent angels down to each territory and built these huge blue, like mini firmaments on earth to protect the people that were in there. Oh man. So, but outside those little blue bubbles, it was still chaos, and there were saints flying, on earth, still doing work, trying to save people, and they weren't trying, they were saving people and protecting people. But I thought that was really interesting in the dream, that I didn't see anyone, I didn't see a rapture. I saw the angels come to earth and protect who was here on earth. And I'll tell you, when I think back on this dream, it reminds me of the separation. When I saw that angel pulling people out of that group of other people, and he separated them, I didn't know what was going on until that light came out of his hand, and it showed their true form. And in the dream, I remember, it's kind of hard to get details, but I had kind of a close-up picture of what these things look like. And let me tell you, they were deformed. They had, different, like deformed teeth, crooked, broken teeth. They did have kind of some of them looked reptilian type. Others looked like a god. I don't know. They looked wicked. But I thought that was key, the separation. And that's kind of what this dream was. It was the separation dream. And, when it ended, I woke up, and I'll mention this. My migraine was not only gone, but I was so invigorated. I felt like I could have run through a brick wall. I don't know why, if it was just from what I saw in the dream that motivated me or that gave me inspiration. But look, I know a lot of people out there are having migraines, a lot of them. I've been getting them on and off. They were really hitting me years back, but lately I haven't had one. That was the first one, and it was definitely a spiritual attack. So I rebuked it in the name of the Lord, and he came running to my aid. And before I go to bed all the time, I ask the Lord. I always ask him, Lord, can I be in your presence tonight? While I sleep, could I be in your presence? And look, sometimes you just need to sleep and rest. And other times you may have a dream or something. But the main thing I took away was the separation of the people. You know, the tares from the wheat, I guess you could say. And the other thing was how kind and gentle, whoever that being was, the 15-foot tall being, I want to say it was the Lord. I do. I want to say it was the Lord. He was very gentle, and he made an emphasis, do not touch or harm the little ones. But he was talking about you and me, and it didn't matter what age we were here on earth. You could have been 80, you could have been 30 and a huge NFL football player. You were still a child to the Most High. We are all children compared to him and his might and his glory. And I just, I had to get this on record. It's been a couple of days, but it's been busy. It's a busy week. So I've been praying for everybody. Look, a lot of ups and downs lately. A lot of ups and downs. I mentioned a couple weeks ago about, that your desire to be in the Word of God being under attack. Your desire to... Oh, and that was the other thing I'll mention, is that I had this migraine the day that I started fasting. And I made a commitment to the Lord the morning before I had it that I was going to fast through the holidays. And I'll be honest, it threw me off my game. I had to regroup, and I'm regrouping today actually to start fasting again. But I thought that was very interesting that I would have that spiritual attack, because all these ailments we have, you have to understand, okay, the evil one is busy. He's busy because he knows he's running out of time to impose his will on the earth. So a lot of these things you feel, the sickness, the headaches, the being tired, like you have no reason to be tired, but you're tired anyways. I've been going through it too. They are all spiritual attacks. But when you get into the Word of God, yeah, I'm telling you, it is like in itself the bread of life. It's a living Word. So even if I've said before, even if you have to force yourself to read it, get in there and read. I love you guys. Hope everyone had a safe week. And we'll talk later. Bye.